record a job, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier, finished friends on my face, looking like I'm from the deep. These no Cartiers, pockets deep, 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 bro. I can make it in my seat, bro. Do you, I'm doing me, bro. Making noise, use a beat, bro. Whoa, whoa. I press the button and the doors go off like, whoa. That money clip us now, the new now looks like, whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, 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 whoa. Neighborhood on the scene, neighborhood on the strip, neighborhood be the name, neighborhood no crib, neighborhood that's me, neighborhood that's Nick, neighborhood do the dance, neighborhood do the deal. Okay, thought I'd never make it, like no way. I'm the real deal, no role play. My days off, that's no days. No, I hustle hard, young rose. E be the shooter, that's cold case. Those on the deals, that's brose. Got no pay, yo, no say. Okay, this the news, tell them read it. Been the one since the feed.
Good morning. So it's nearly 2 o'clock in the morning now, and you join me at my Syndicate lake, my new Syndicate lake in Abingdon, Oxfordshire. It's one of the Embryo Angling lakes called Cables. So I've never been here before. It's my first ever trip. I joined last month. I finished work at 8 o'clock tonight. I was planning on coming down Wednesday morning, which is this morning. Getting here for first light, getting here for 6, 7 o'clock ish. But I finished work and thought, you know what, I'm going to drive down tonight. I'm going to get there late. I got here at about 11 o'clock ish, something like that. And I thought at least by doing that I can have the chance of maybe hearing a few fish tonight, getting a bit of a head start for the morning, or if not, at least be here for first light in the morning and not have to get up stupidly early to get down here. So yeah, that's what I did. So I made sure I was all ready, loaded the car and everything, and went and basically headed straight down here from work. So yeah, it was a pretty straightforward journey. Got here, and I just thought I'm just gonna have a lap of the lake. It was quite mild. It's raining now, but it was dry when I got here, and just see what I can see. There was quite a few cars on the car park. There's about 6 or 7 cars in the car park, but I think the car park's shared between this one and Phil's lake next door. So I think there's 3 anglers on here. I didn't go all the way around because it looks like you have to walk through most of the pegs to walk around it. And if there's people fishing, you don't really want to be doing that at kind of midnight when I was walking around. So yeah, there was a guy in the stocking in the first swim when you get here, and I think there's a guy in the swim up the opposite end, which I think is called the point, and then it looks like there might be somebody over in the underarm swims over the opposite bank. But yeah, I've dropped into a swim called the Lookout, which I think is a very popular swim. It's pretty central, and obviously not being here before, I've got limited information. My one friend fishes here, Alex, and to be fair, he's only been maybe 10 nights or something like that, 10 or 12 nights, something like that. So I've got a little bit of information, and I'm basically just going off a bit of gut feel. The wind's changing tomorrow. It's going to kind of a southwesterly. The pressure's dropping. It's been crap weather recently. And the weather is really picking up the next sort of 2 days. I'm here till Thursday morning, so I guess if you class tonight as a night, I'm here for 2 nights, but 1 proper night. The idea was to get here first thing tomorrow morning, find some fish, and fish properly for them for 24 hours until Thursday morning. So yeah, I mean, walking around, I actually heard maybe 5 fish show, and they were actually down the opposite end as where I thought maybe they're going to be or gonna be. So I think that the wind's blowing southwesterly, which is blowing to my right, but the fish have actually shown to my left as I look out into the lake, and quite a way over as well, in front of the point swim. I think it's called Dayburn's Point or something like that. So yeah, that's the kind of area that the fish have shown. I think there's somebody over there. There was a light, or I'm pretty sure there was a light there, so I didn't walk all the way around. But what I've done is I've just chucked the bivvy up and got set up, and I've just cast out there with a bare lead, and you know, not knowing exactly how far they are. I've cast out about 80-90 yards, quite weedy. I pulled it back, and just shy of 80 yards, probably about 75 yards, there's a clearer area, and I cast on that same line 3 or 4 times, and it's fairly clear. So all I've done is I've just put 2 solid bags out there. two little 12mm pop-ups, I think one little yellow one and one little orange one, and just a bag full of pellets. Both of them went out sweet. It only feels shallow, probably. I don't know how deep the lake is, but I was barely feeling it down. So it can, I'm guessing it's 8 foot, 7, 8 foot, something like that. Obviously it's harder to feel it down in the dark when you can't see the lead and whatnot. And then I did have a lead out over to my right, and I thought I found something at about 80 yards, just over 80 yards, and it felt really clear with the marker rod. And then I chucked the lead out there on the fishing rod 3 or 4 times just before I put the solid bag out, and it was just chocker of weed every time. So I haven't put that one out because I'm not exactly sure. And like, to be fair, tonight I'm here just to see what I can see, really, more than catch a fish tonight. I mean, if I caught something, it'd be a bonus, and probably a little bit jammy, if I'm honest. But yeah, I think already I've kind of heard a few fish, so I've got something to go off straight away. But I'm going to keep an ear out all night, get up first light, make sure I'm watching the water when it gets light, and the idea is to kind of see where they're showing, if there's anything showing, if there's anything fizzing, and basically target that area for the following 24 hours, hoping that that's where they're going to stay. But also bearing in mind that the wind's going to get a bit stronger going southwesterly, and they could end up moving to my right. So, you know, I like fishing 3 rods on a spot, but you know, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I've kind of got it in my head that it might be better to fish a couple of spots this session. There's so much water out in front of these swims. I mean, what's really good about these lakes is, I don't know how many swims are on here, about 8 maybe, but you walk in for like 3 or 4 minutes between each swim. You know, there's loads of water. So yeah, potentially looking at gonna split the rods up a little bit, have some out to the right and maybe one out to the left or whatever. But yeah, we'll see. So I'll give you a proper update in the morning. Obviously show you the lake. I've not seen it in the daylight for myself yet. So yeah, show you the lake and give you a bit of a talk through of what we're going to do tactics wise when I know what that's going to be. So yeah, right then, so I'm going to get some sleep and I'll see you in the morning. Morning. So it's about 10:30 now. We've just got all the rods sorted, a little bit of bait out there, feeling pretty confident actually. So yeah, after I spoke to you last night, I had a tench about 2 hours after putting the rods out. So I put 2 solid bags out just to the left of the swim where I heard those fish show. Not quite as far because it felt quite weedy out there, but about 75 yards ish, something like that. I had a tench about £6 ripped off. Then I put that rod back out and I heard one show over to the right as well. So I said last night I thought I found a spot over there, but when I chucked the fishing rod out there it felt really weedy, but I thought, oh, I'll chuck it out there anyway. So I chucked it out with just a little hinge on a helicopter. So I thought it'll present, or hopefully it'll present. Anyway, nothing else happened. So I woke up this morning and I left the rods out and I just watched, to be honest, just watched and saw quite a few fish, but they were all spread out. So interestingly, a lot of them were close into the far margin in front of a couple of swims called the underarm swims, I think they're called. They look like really close from here, but they're probably within 30 yards of the bank or something. And I was watching with the binoculars and there was quite a bit of fizzing coming up as well. I've seen 2 more fish show to my left down towards Canal Corner. I haven't seen anything to my right. The wind was, well, there was no wind pretty much this morning. It was pretty much flat calm. Now the wind's pushing southwesterly down there. It looks really good down there. The guy that was in the stocking, he lost one, I suppose about 8 o'clock, something like that, 8:30. He had a take and he had a hook pull. I'm not sure if he's been there 1 or 2 nights, but he didn't land anything anyway. He just lost that one. I went round, had a chat with him. He's gone now. So yeah, I come back round, and after chatting to him and kind of seeing fish pretty much everywhere, him having that bite down there, fish showing to my left over the other side, and in the night seeing a couple in the middle area, I thought with this change of weather, those fish aren't just going to sit off that margin for the next sort of 24 hours, or at least I hope they're not anyway. So I decided to stay in here and kind of just fish just right of centre, so just into kind of where the southwesterly is pushing, so I'm casting to my right. You'll see that from the videos. So yeah, I come back and basically wound my rods in and just got the leading rod out. So I spent about half an hour, I suppose, leading up. So as soon as I'd finished finding my spot, which there was one quite big area out there in front of me, like pretty much straight out, that a guy told me about, but it was massive. It was really big and like really obvious, and I kind of get the feeling that it's kind of the spot everybody fishes in here. So I wanted to try and find something a little bit different and a little bit more further right. So it took me a bit longer to do, but I managed to find something. It's not massive, it's sort of 6 to 8 foot. You get a pull back, but it's only a rod length wide either side. You go into kind of weed, so enough room to get what initially was going to be 2 rods, but I ended up putting 3 rods on it, just because I thought I don't really know what else to do. So I decided to put 3 rods on that spot, 2 with wafters, 1 with just a little pop-up on. The wafters have just got a little bit of foam just tipped on top of them. Yeah, so I've just cast all 3 of those out. They've all landed like really close together, like sort of 3 or 4 foot apart, and they all landed really well. And then so yeah, then I got the spom rod out. So I think I put 14 or 15 spoms out. Yeah, so they all went out really sweet. So they went out probably out over a 12 foot area, something like that, maybe 12 or 14 foot. So considering there's a slight crosswind, and fishing about 90 yards, there's one just shown again, 30 yards or so straight off the far bank. It didn't look very big, that one. So yeah, got all that bait out there, and that brings us up to now really. We've just had a bit of a tidy up. There's been no more rain since this morning. Chucked it down through the night, absolutely chucked it down while I had that tench. And we've got rain pretty much forecast for the next 24 hours. This southwesterly is going to get stronger. It is going to swing to a westerly this evening, which will blow straight into my face. I don't think the wind will matter too much, you know, unless they end up right down in this corner down here, which they could do. Like I say, it's difficult not knowing the lake at all, not knowing what they're going to do, or you know, it literally is just guesswork watching what they're doing. I mean, at the moment they're all just sat off the back of the wind over on that far margin. You know, we've had high pressure and pretty warm weather for a few weeks now, so whether they're just over there because that's where they've been spending time the last few weeks, and hopefully they're going to react to this weather in the next 24 hours. But yeah, so I put enough bait out to get a bite. Let's say 14 or 15 spoms, mostly pellet, with yeah, quite a few boilie in there as well, chopped and whole boilie, but yeah, mixed size pellets and some oils and liquids. So yeah, enough to get a bite, but not enough that if they did all start showing in this corner down here, or really close into the stocking, or they keep persisting and showing over there and they don't seem to be moving, it's not enough that I feel like I'm committed and I've got to stay here basically. So yeah, we'll keep you updated, and hopefully, yeah, there's a chance of a carp. It's only, yeah, it's not even 11 o'clock yet and all the rods are out and sorted. It's going to be good weather all day, so if they move over, there's every chance of a fish today. If nothing happens today, I'll probably hedge my bets and just leave 2 rods on that spot and maybe move one down to this left hand corner, just because I've seen 2 or 3 shows down there now. It's very weedy. I've chucked the lead out a few times down there and I can't even get a drop, but I'm sure there is something somewhere, so I'm going to have a flick around there this afternoon and see if I can find something, just in case nothing happens, so I've got another option down to my left. But yeah, that's where we're at. So I'll catch up with you in a bit. Speak to you later. So you've just seen me playing that fish. Unfortunately, it's weeded me up absolutely solid. So I've put pressure on it for a good 5 to 10 minutes. Just can't feel anything, absolutely solid. So I'm hoping the fish is still on there. I'll just put the rod back on the rest on a tight line and just loosen the clutch off a little bit. Hopefully it kicks and frees itself. So yeah, just hope I've got a good hook hold. Can't believe I had to take this quickly. It'd be amazing to get this in, but it's not looking good. Fingers crossed. What a result. I can't actually believe it. It's 1 o'clock and I've got one in the net already. Proper drama. Middle rod ripped off. Even managed to get the take on camera. Weeded me up for about 15 minutes, something like that, 20 minutes. Absolutely solid. Finally managed to get it out. And you've just seen the last bit of the fight getting in the net. Just about managed to scoop it up. It is massive. It is absolutely massive. It's got to be one of the known big ones. I mean, it looks every bit of, I don't know, I might be getting excited here, but £35, it's a chunk. It's a proper chunk. Get in. Get in. Oh, what a result. Right, I need to compose myself, get ready to get her out, weigh her, do some photos and get some video. Get in. Okay, how about that? For my first embryo angling, cables carp. I think it's unnamed. It's definitely one of the big ones. Did £31 something in the spring. I think it come out about 27 or something after spawning. Okay, and I wasn't too far off with my guess. It was £34. Bang on £34. Okay, absolute beast. Taken on a wafter, tipped with a little bit of foam over that baited spot that I showed you earlier. Oh, happy days. What a fish. Look at the width of it. It's a proper unit. Right, we've done the pictures. Okay, we've done all the photos. So we're just gonna get her back. Oh, so happy. £34. What a beast. Right, let's get her back. Good afternoon. So it's 4:30 now. It's gone a little bit calmer. Just had a load of rain. It's literally only just stopped. The wind swung to a westerly, blowing straight into my face. Yeah, and it's just really calmed down now. So after I put that fish back, me and Ralphie went for a walk around the lake while my rod's in. Before I left, clipped them all up, and I put another 15 spoms out, about the same again. To be completely honest, it wasn't the best spomming. Most of them went pretty well, but I think I landed at least 3 just short and didn't hit the clip. Some noddy spomming really. At the distance I'm fishing out, you shouldn't really be dropping any short, but yeah, most of them went out there. But yeah, so all the rods were clipped up and we went for a walk. We did 2 laps of the lake. Still loads of fish showing on that far margin. All up and down it really, the whole length of it pretty much, which was really interesting. The majority of the shows that I've seen are like in quite an awkward place to get to from any swim really. I assume they probably know that. But yeah, there's been nothing show kind of in the middle anywhere really. It's been just that far margin, bit of fizzing coming up. There's constantly a flat spot coming up off my spot when there's a breeze on. That's just the oil that's in the pellets and some of the liquid that's in the mix. Yeah, it looks beautiful now. Really, really nice lake. So glad that I got offered a ticket on here this year. I literally had nowhere to fish coming out of lockdown, other than the park lake really, and day tickets. So yeah, I was well chuffed when the letter for this came through. Somewhere that I'm planning on keeping for a few years. I won't be fishing it much. Yeah, probably 5 to 10 nights a year, absolute max, I'd have thought. But that's okay. I joined this because there's 100 fish in here, and there's already, well, there was 10 30s, but there's got to be 15 that have been caught now, 15 or 16, and there's probably another, I don't know, 5 or 6 after that haven't been out, that are possibly 30. There's not really I don't think there's really an up-to-date count on how many 30s, or there probably is, but I just haven't heard it. But yeah, and there's a couple of fish that could potentially be £40 or very close to. So yeah, I wanted to join here to have a chance of beating my PB at some point in the next few years, which is just under £41. So hopefully, if they keep going the way they're going, I'll have a good chance of doing that. So yeah, I think tonight I'm going to leave things as they are. I put all the rods back on the spot. You can see here the lines. Hopefully you can see those there. So all 3 of them back on the spot. They're about 3 foot, 4 foot apart. They've all got wafters on them. So I've taken the one pop-up off. All got wafters tipped with a little bit of foam. Yeah, so I think we're going to leave those as they are, unless anything drastic happens, unless I see them bounding out, you know, somewhere else, and I feel that I have to put a rod on them and leave 2 rods on the spot, then they'll all stay out there. And it's still showing on that far margin over there. You might be able to just see that in the distance. Yeah, so I'm going to get some food on. Let's say it's only 4:30, I think. Yeah, 4:30, 4:45, so still got plenty of the evening to go. You know, there's every chance we could get another bite before it gets dark, but again, it took me about 25 casts to get my rods back out, which it shouldn't have took anywhere near that many, just being a bit of a noddy. My left rod, there's one tree over there it just seems a little bit firmer, like one bush that just seems a little bit firmer than either side of it. Even though either side of it's clear, it just seems that little bit better on that spot, and that's where I had the bite from. So I tried to get 2 rods on it. Well, I did eventually, but it just took me a long time to do it. So there was quite a lot of disturbance, unfortunately. But that being said, you know, I let it up for ages earlier, and then put a load of spoms out, put all my rods out, and then 2.5 hours or whatever it was, 3 hours later I had that 34, so there's every chance. So yeah, I'll catch up with you a bit. I'll let you know if anything happens, if I make any changes. If not, hopefully the next time you'll see me is with maybe another carp, or possibly in the morning. Right, catch you in a bit. Good morning. It's about 7:15 now on Thursday morning. Nothing happened last night. It was a very wet, quite windy night actually. The wind in particular really got up just before I went to sleep. I fell asleep early last night, to be fair, but yeah, it was really blowing. The rain was properly coming down. It felt so good. I'll be honest, I was so tired last night. You know, we zipped up. The wind was blowing right into the bivvy, so we zipped up so the rain didn't come in. And I fell asleep at probably about, I don't know, 8:30ish, something like that, 8:45. And I've slept all night, so I had no chance of hearing anything with the wind. So I don't really know if they've been showing or anything. And I've just got up at 6:30. Just got light, so haven't seen anything yet. Still a little bit of a slip coming up off the spot, so there's obviously still bait out there. Yeah, that chap in the stocking had a bite yesterday morning at about 8 o'clock, I think it was. Something's just shown there. Might have been a tench. I've seen a couple of tench, but so I ended up putting about 100 baits or so over the spot that I found down to this left-hand side. I think I mentioned yesterday I saw a few fish yesterday morning there. I think I saw 3 shows in the night and yesterday morning. So I ended up putting about 100 baits on a really nice little clear area over there. And was going to basically see if I saw anything show as to whether I put a rod there or not. And as that wind really got up last night, the fish just kept showing on that far bank, which again surprised me a little bit because they just didn't seem to move. So I thought those rods out there in the middle where I had that bite from yesterday they were closer to where I think the majority of the fish were than this left-hand spot. So I decided to leave all of them out there on the main spot last night. I just thought my best chances of another bite was going to be off that spot again, so I'd rather have 3 rods on it. Yeah, it's not happened unfortunately yet, but still a chance this morning. We're staying till about 10 o'clock. It's meant to dry up a little bit as well, so should dry the kit out just to pack it away before we get off. So yeah, lovely morning. Hopefully get one more chance, but if not too fussed at all after having that fish yesterday. Yeah, we had a proper good sleep last night, didn't we, mate? Right, I'll let you know if anything happens and catch up with you before we go home. Speak to you in a bit. updates. Nothing else happened this morning. We hung on till about 10:30, but yeah, we didn't see anything else anywhere on the lake actually. Still looked really good, nice southwesterly blowing, but it felt cold today, to be fair, and I wonder if they'd kind of pushed right off the back of it in the end. Yesterday maybe a few of them considered moving on the wind, and today it was just a little bit too cold for them. But yeah, absolutely chuffed with the session. Can't believe caught one on the first session, to be fair. You know, I wasn't expecting to come down and catch straight away. I know it can be a little bit challenging with the limited number of fish and obviously not knowing the lake. But yeah, over the moon to have caught one. Not sure when I'm going to be back next. Where is it now? So yeah, we're kind of end of September now. I've got a trip to Linear with all the boys booked end of October. So I'm hoping that's not going to be my next session. I'd like to get another night in here actually between now and then, but we'll see. But yeah, great session. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch up with you soon.